Hello everyone, thanks for watching this video. Um, Today I thought I'd do a video review to talk about my Patek Philippe 5711 Nautilus. This is not a watch that you see too commonly. I have been to countless Patek Philippe authorized dealers and boutiques, and I'm yet to find a single 5711 blue or white in the store. I have come across a number of other ones like the 5712, the 5726, the chronograph versions, the 5990, but this one, the simple 5711, is so much in demand that you'd rarely see one. And also I should mention that I've been to a lot of watch collecting events, around the world, and again, this is not a watch that you see often. And I think it's because it's got such limited production. Patek does not make too many stainless steel watches, and it seems that the Nautilus is the 5711 Nautilus is probably the least made one. So I was lucky enough to get a heads up from a friend who told me that one of these would be coming to a dealer, and that I should call them. So I got in touch with the dealer, and they were very happy, obviously, to put me on the list for this one. Sorry. It took me around 6 months to get this, and it arrived in this beautiful Patek Philippe box. It came double sealed. I really enjoyed opening it up, and the first thing that you realize when you see this watch or pick this up is the weight of it. It's an extremely lightweight watch. True enough, it's a Patek Philippe sports watch. You expect sports watches to be heavy and bulky, but it's not the case with the Nautilus. It's light. It's significantly lighter than my other watches. You can have a quick look at my other videos to see what my other watches are. Compared to my Rolex, this is significantly lighter, and if once you put it on your wrist, again, it feels almost as if it's not there. You rarely notice that you're wearing a watch when this is on your wrist. I think that's partly because of one, the lightweight or the perceived lightweight of this watch, and the second thing is the bracelet. The integrated bracelet is a work of art all on its own. It's got beautifully polished center links and brushed sides. The edges are chamfered. You can see a video or details on Patek Philippe's website about how this is made, and sorry, I'm just messing around with autofocus there. So as I was saying, the bracelet is just so well made, and it's extremely comfortable. The clasp is so well designed that it almost doesn't exist when the watch is on. It's thin, it blends right into this strap, the bracelet, and it's got a very quirky way of being opened. So you got to put your finger through between the clasp and the bracelet and just give it a yank. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too difficult, so just pop it open. It's very safe on the wrist. Once you put it on, it doesn't feel like it's going to pop out at any stage. The inside of the bracelet is brushed, and let's talk about the movement briefly. Technical data can be found on the Patek Philippe website. but it's a 3-2-4 movement, which is, you know, one of their very commonly used movements, very well known. Beautiful gold rotor. When looking at this through a loop, you could spend a good bit of time enjoying this movement because it's very well decorated, and can't fault it in any way. It's a very quirky thing about this watch. It's the noise that it makes when the movement or the rotor winds the watch up. You can hear this sort of swirling noise. I'll try and replicate it here now for you. Oh, I'm not too sure if you could hear that, but it's sort of it's a little rotor noise, and there you go. So if you're driving along and make a quick movement with your hands or at your desk, just fling your wrist for some reason, it's a beautiful noise, and that I like that about this watch. And finally, let's talk about the dial. So if you look at the dial sort of in this light, you're gonna see that, well, it's a dark grey blue dial, but then you move into the light, it starts to look blue, and it has this beautiful sunburst effect that it's just amazing to look at. When this watch is on your wrist, it's like no other. I've tried on the AP Royal Oak with its fancy dial. I've had my Jaeger LeCoultre with some very interesting dial markings on it, but I'm yet to find any other watch with a dial that is as mesmerizing as this one. And end of the day, that is what you want. You want a watch that makes you smile when you look at it, and this certainly does do that, because the way the colors reflect, it's absolutely stunning, and you can spend a good few minutes just staring at this dial. What I might do is I might make another video with my watches, with my macro lens, and maybe try and get some close-up shots of that dial. But coming back to the dial and the watch in general, one thing I have to say is that this watch is very low-key. Not many people know what it is. You could wear this every day, and I have been wearing this every day, and no one has noticed it, obviously, unless you walk into a Patek Philippe dealer or a wristwatch dealer where they're obviously trained to look at what you have on your wrist. Then obviously they'd spot it and admire it, but day to day it's a watch that's very much under the radar. It doesn't stick out. It fits under your cuff very well, very comfortable on your wrist, and end of the day, it's a Patek Philippe. It's a collectible watch. I don't intend to sell this at all, but you know, it's one of those watches that can stay in a collection forever and ever. And as they say in the marketing, pass on to the next generation, because it's going to be in demand. It's going to be serviceable. That's one thing I like about Patek Philippe. They claim that, well, not that they claim, they do restore a watch, albeit at a price, but it's nice to know that this watch, if it's taken care of, it can be serviced for many generations to come. And I think that is one of the unique selling points of Patek Philippe. Overall, while I'm talking about the Nautilus, I'll just talk about Patek Philippe watches that I've looked at. I must warn you that once you buy one Patek Philippe, it's it's difficult to stop there. Before I got the Nautilus, I considered buying a complicated Patek Philippe, so I had a look at the 5146, which is just this watch. Beautiful watch, but I didn't really enjoy the look of it on my wrist. The dials made it, looked a bit cluttered. And then at another stage, I considered the 5196P. Beautiful watch to look at, but on pictures. But it really is a nice watch. But when I put it on my wrist, it didn't really look as nice as I expected it to. So going forward from here, there's only 2 watches in the current collection that I would consider getting. The first one is actually the 5205R, which is the gorgeous annual calendar watch, and I've tried this on the wrist, and it's absolutely stunning. And the next watch that most likely that I'll be purchasing quite soon would be this one, the 5196J, or I haven't really decided yet. But Patek Philippe, once you get one, it's difficult to stop. But as you can see from the rest of my collection, I have a good few sports watches now, so I'm looking at adding a dress watch and something to complement my Nautilus. And would I recommend this to someone? Yes, absolutely. If you can afford the 23,000 euros is around the price in Europe, and if you are comfortable with the fact that every 5 or 6 years you have to send this over for a service, probably costing around 700 or 800 euros, and it might take a bit of time for your watch to come back. And if you're comfortable with those 2 facts, I'd definitely recommend this watch. Should this be your only luxury watch? Certainly not. I think any watch collection needs a watch that is a bit less sensitive. I'd recommend having something like a Submariner, GMT, or a Speedmaster to complement this, so that you can wear it on sort of more casual occasions or when you're on holidays. Even though this watch is of 120 meters water resistant, I wouldn't consider going diving or swimming with this watch. I guess that sums it up. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer it. So just a recap really. Gorgeous watch, beautiful bracelet, amazing Patek Philippe movement, very collectible, extremely high in demand. If you can get your hands on one, grab it. You're very unlikely to lose money, because there'll be plenty of people who'll be glad to take this off you. I've been to 2 watch dealers, when I was there to talk about some of my other watches, and a number of people have tried to buy this off me, or do some kind of trade. So once again, like, it's a great watch. People love it. I love it. And if you're considering buying one, I'd highly recommend it. So thank you for watching the video, and as I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment.